whatever. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, whatever the case may be. Trying to get myself finished setting up here, and whatever. I get ahead of myself sometimes. So let's start with a prayer. Father, we are so very grateful for the blessing of this beautiful day, for the privilege and opportunity that we have to be able to experience this physical realm, and for the blessing to be able to serve others. Father, these things we pray in thy Son's name. Amen. Yeah. I'm getting caught up doing all the shout out videos. I've been letting stuff bottle up inside my head. My head never shuts up, So it's constantly talking. And the reason why is because I'm tapped into the divine. And that's what happens. See, God lives within our own selves. The true temple of God, the true church of God is right here. It's built in our hearts and our minds. All right. It's not in some brick and mortar. One of the teachings that was erased from the King James Version of the Bible was don't build churches out of brick and mortar, for stone will rot. You build the church within yourself, in your hearts and minds of the people. But the Roman Empire didn't want that included in the book, so they didn't. They left it out. At any rate, let's get to the disclaimer. I already jumped ahead of myself. Getting ahead of myself. Oh, excuse me, pardon me. The weather's changing and it got cold again. It's like wintertime. At any rate, welcome one and all to the Hobo Hideaway. Yes, indeed, here we are, ladies and gentlemen. We are the Hobo Hideaway. My name is Jack Schitt. This segment is called Talking Shit with Jack Schitt, and I'm your host. Amazing. Isn't that something awesome? And what else? Well, any kind of conversations we have, any topics that we share, anything that might be discussed, any information disclosed is strictly for documentary, educational, and entertainment purposes only. We do not buy, sell, or trade anything ever, not at all. We promote other people, but we don't ever buy, sell, or trade anything. All right. What else? Oh yeah, the most important thing. Any opinions at all that are shared here are strictly the opinions of the person sitting behind the microphone or somebody who may want to leave a comment. All comments are welcome. Please be polite and respectful. You're just showing your own true character when you put something in there. Anytime we open our mouths, anytime we say anything, anytime we do anything, we're showing the whole world who we really are. So by all means, show me who you really are. Be honest. Be honest in all of your endeavors. But treat everything in existence with respect and consideration. Indeed. Yeah. So today I'm running Hobo Channels, people that travelers. We're all travelers. All right. And that's just it. People see me when I leave a comment or whatever, I used to always say, stay blessed, fellow traveler. That's because we all are fellow travelers, and we are blessed. Everybody's blessed. The blessing is we woke up today. The blessing is we're here, right now. The blessing is we're breathing, we're perceiving, we're experiencing, we get to feel things. We may not like everything we feel, we may not like everything we smell, so I'm trying to put socks on because my feet are cold. So, like I said, the weather changed on us. It was hot for a couple of days. We had summer for about 3 days this year. And then bam, right back into fall. Oh man, what the heck? Yeah, it's crazy. I was out driving the fields and the crops, the corn and everything. It's like way short this time of year. They usually harvest by about this time, mid-June, right before 4th of July. The first harvest anyway. But the crops aren't doing well this year. We're having problems. At any rate, it's a thing, part of that magnetic pole fluctuation reversal thing. The Earth's getting ready to flip over as it was in Noah's time. Yeah, said so. Go find out. So what were we talking about? I think we were talking about Hobo Day. Hobo Day. Happy Hobo Day, everybody. I still got them all running. And yeah, giving them their view times and whatnot so that they can get their paychecks so they can afford to live out there on the road and whatnot. You know? And like I said before, people that go live like that, it's none of these people are drug addicts or alcoholics or any of that crap. They're just sick of society and they woke up. They woke up and they realized that they were enslaved by bills, taxes, regulations, rules, laws. And all for what? They traded all that. They traded up their freedoms for safety, for the false promise of safety and health and well-being and whatever, comfort, you know? And all that did, look, I did it too. I traded up freedom for all of that stuff. Here I am, comfortable, free. I ain't free no more, but I now have to live within the confines of the rules of this structure for which I dwell. I have to live within the rules and the confines of the system that runs this township and whatever other parts of society. It's a thing. But out there, I could wander and go check out all of nature and go live off the land. Every now and again, come into town for whatever I needed. When I was working for the phone company, I lived out of my car. They gave me hotel rooms every now and again. They offered them all the time. I just preferred living out of my car. Every now and again, I'd get a hotel because I had the kids every now and again. And the kids didn't like camping all the time. Crazy. I loved camping growing up as a kid. That was my favorite. But my kids during the time of what was that, the 90s and the 2000s, the early 2000s, I mean, yeah, it was all about video games and fast food and hated McDonald's. But boy, I'll tell you, they wanted to eat at Mickey D's all the time. Nasty crap, just garbage, pure puke. Of course, I hear things today that they're using recycled human remains and other things of that nature. Hey, meat is meat, they said. That's their new slogan, McDonald's. Meat is meat. Protein is protein. And they're trying to push these slogans. It ain't just McDonald's. It's the powers that run everything, control everything. The powers. The people that benefit the most by keeping the system running the way it does. And they got that motivation factor. That person changes all the time. Those people do change. Yes, it stays usually within the bloodlines, of course. But yes, the people change because they get old and they, in game. That's just the way. We all have this little time limit. Our bodies, they fall apart and they deteriorate. You can only live so long doing things. And here's the thing about living out there in the outdoors, in the wilds like that. It's not safe. It's dangerous all the time. It's hard work all the time. And only the strong survive. That's true fact. I wasn't strong anymore. I admit to that. I became weak. And I couldn't live that way anymore. Now, that's not entirely true. What happened was a woman came along that inspired me to the point to give up all of that to serve her every wish, every whim, every need, every desire, whatever the case may be. She is my mistress, and I am here to serve her. And in that process, I became acclimated to this way of life, and my muscles and way of being able to survive out there atrophied. It's just like any other muscle. If you don't use it, it atrophies. And that goes for even living out there. My muscle memory of setting up camp and breaking down camp and cleaning up. You always clean up your site and leave it like you never was there. All that garbage that gets left out, that's not done by hobos. That's done by, there are those homeless people out there that are stuck in the cities and they zombified and whacked out on the drugs. Those aren't hobos. Hobos get a bad name. Nomads get a bad name because of things like that. Yeah, that stuff exists. Those people were all kicked to the curb by their family members as embarrassments because the family was ashamed of them. Oh, we got to turn our eye on. No, we can't help them in any way because they're helpless. That's bullshit. It always has been bullshit. You know? Yeah. And I know that feeling too because my own family turned their back on me. Most of them still don't talk to me. My mom talks to me again, you know. She tried to disown me a few times in my lifetime. My dad tried to disown me a few times in his lifetime. But they both took me back eventually. Of course, I did go work for the phone company with my dad. And so that kind of helped that whole, yeah, yeah, something like that. I loved my parents. They did the best they could with a wild child like me. A free spirit is what I was. Open minded, completely seeing everything for the realities of it was. And I couldn't believe the bullshit fantasy fairy tales that society and the system tries to put on everybody. I watch a lot of old movies just to rewind at night, you know, and try to get myself to I gotta rewind or unwind from all the YouTube stuff, and then whatever. I watch a lot of old movies just because of nostalgia, whatever and whatnot. And when I do, it reminds me of, or I guess it does kind of remind me from my childhood when it was an easier time. But the way life used to be when my ancestors came over and pioneered and homesteaded and things. They didn't have a grid. They didn't have a system. They went out and broke the land and built their homes and hunted and foraged and grew their crops, dug a well, and they survived, or they didn't. My ancestors obviously survived because here I am. Well, they survived until after they propagated anyway. Yeah. But, there you go. The circle of life, the whole purpose we exist is we're born, we get educated and learn things, and I don't mean public education, I mean real life education. We learn things and then we reproduce and then we pass our knowledge on and then we die. And then we're born and then we do it all over again. And yeah, round and around and around we go for all of eternity with infinite possibilities. Indeed. Yep, it's a fun roller coaster ride. Woo! Here we are! Yay! But yeah, Hobo Day. So, you know, I've lived a lot of different ways out there on the road. I've slept in trees. I've slept under overpasses, under the bridges. I've slept under the train bridges, which sucks. Don't do that. I slept in caves. I've dug holes and made my own little cave. I've slept in sewer systems. Oh, I've slept in the bushes at the golf course. That was fun until the sprinklers come on. Don't do that either. I mean, yeah, just be far enough away from sprinklers and don't, be uphill, not downhill, because the water runs downhill. I'm just saying. And when you're sleeping in trees, pick the right trees. Don't pick the ones that are full of ants. Because when they're full of ants and stuff like that, dude, you're going to be hating life in the morning. Yeah, the mosquitoes are mostly pretty easy. It's about clothing and stuff and layers, and you can use chemicals like citronella and stuff like that. I mean, chemicals, it's a natural plant, but you can find the plants and you can use certain plants they'll, what's it called, repel them. They won't like you. And if you eat lots of garlic, that keeps all the parasites away because the bloodsuckers don't like garlic, don't you know? I mean, haven't you ever met a vampire? Vampires don't like garlic very much. Some of them do. Some of them will enjoy it a little bit, but most of them don't like it very much. Anyway, but yeah, I've slept in my car a lot. I've slept in abandoned buildings. I've slept up in the rafters of buildings. I've slept in new construction sites. Yep, you gotta be careful with that too because of the security guards. And if you don't get up and get gone before the workers show up, and they like to show up early in the morning, then you might get nailed to the wall, literally. And yes, I have been nailed to the wall, literally. But then I got a job the next day. I mean, well, that day, the foreman came in and found me nailed to the wall and said, "What happened?" And everybody told him, and he let me explain myself, and he said, "You want a job?" And I said, "Hell yeah!" And I was working, and I got to eat, and I got some cash in my pocket, and I got some work experience. That's the thing about it. A lot of times that's the way it works. And then not only that, they gave me a shed to sleep in, and then I upgraded into a trailer. The longer you're there, even when I was working as a security guard at a few different places, when I was working for Wells Fargo, that's a company for you. Yeah, it wasn't that bad. But anyway, yeah, I worked there, and most time I was with my second ex-wife at the time, but there was a part of a time when we weren't hanging out very well together, and I got to have a trailer to sleep in the campground. So be a gate guard at a private community, and they had a campground. They had a little lake, man-made lake. Yeah, HOAs, man. Hate those things. They're a communist organization, them HOAs. All of these systems, all of society's systems are designed to entrap people, enslave people, and control people, to imprison us. That's all they are. They keep us imprisoned, and it's all ideology. We're imprisoned here in our minds. All of these systems, they block us off from the divine and our own natural self by convincing us with our ideologies that we don't possess the divine within our own selves, that the true church ain't within ourselves, when in fact it is. And they tell us, no, we need gatekeepers and key masters, and we got to go to these structures and perform ceremonies and rituals and blah, 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 so forth and whatnot. And that's not true. That's all lies. All lies. Deceptions. Yep. Yep. True. My opinion, anyway. That's the way I see it. That's the way all these people see it. That's the way the majority of people see it. Once they see it, they can't ever unsee it. Excuse me. There's another one building up, but we'll try to fight it back. So, I've seen most of these episodes I got running, but not all of them. So every now and again, I got to get back up and make sure I give them a thumbs up. When I'm making these videos where I sit here and I just want to talk shit about whatever and just kind of empty my brain, it's easier if I shut everything off and don't have any distractions. And with the window open, it's kind of hard to do because everybody keeps walking by out there, and well, I know all them too. Yep. So mostly the only reason why I want to know what everybody's doing out there is to make sure they ain't coming over here. Because if they're coming over here, they want something. Yeah. And they don't want to pull weeds to earn it either. That's the thing. When I was younger, man, we always wanted to earn money. We always wanted to pull weeds for the neighbors. We always wanted to mow lawns. We always wanted to do chores. We always wanted to help do something or another to make sure I'm still running over here, because sometimes it turns off and then I end up with a whole video with no verbalization. Me sitting here going, and nothing coming out. Yeah. But yeah, anyway, what was I talking about? Was I talking about something anyway? I don't know. Anyway, something got said, I think. Rambling, gobbledygook, and nonsense. Silliness. Just a bunch of bullshit coming out of some asshole. We all know that. At any rate, thanks for listening. Good luck to each and everybody out there. Happy Hobo Day. And until next time, remember, kindness is the key. And I love you. Later.